The Red Arrows 2018 display season is due to begin in just 4 weeks' time. They've deployed to Greece on exercise Springhawk, their annual overseas training. The guaranteed good weather is needed to prepare for PDA, the Public Display Authority test, which all the Reds must pass to perform displays to the public. But in the next week, they must also test and recruit 2 new pilots for their 2019 team. The pace is relentless. Following the recent accident when engineer John Bayliss was tragically killed, the pressure is on for team leader Martin Pert.
I think objectively we're about 6 weeks to almost 2 months behind schedule. It's entirely possible that we won't be ready for PDA. If we don't make PDA whilst we're out on Springhawk in Greece, the likelihood is we would have to cancel some of the displays at the beginning of the season.
Despite replacement pilot Mike Ling joining only 3 weeks ago, they've managed to fly their first full practice display.
2, 1, hack. Minute 40, welcome gents. We're going to Fitties Bravo, so our first move of sight out over the sea there.
But today, they face the far greater challenge of practicing over the sea.
This way, obviously ramping down over this peak here. Main hazards really, we've obviously got birds here, that's definitely a hazard of this sort of flat ground just sort of rolling into the sea there. And then definition, probably a bit more. Up to now I've had the luxury of practicing over on airfield where we have this big long runway that just orientates me as soon as I look at it. The challenge when we go somewhere that is off an airfield is that I don't have those features anymore. Probably a bit more difficult to get definition here just because the channel is slightly wider. Okay, so could just be into the blue yonder. So we will check in please at minute 06. Have a good one.
Team safety supervisor Adam Collins has headed to the display site.
The conditions today are extremely challenging. It's quite hazy, the sea is extremely calm, so it's almost mirror-like, and the sky and the sea are almost the same colour. So certainly for synchro doing the dynamic diving manoeuvres, it's going to be a challenging day.
The synchro pair are the 2 pilots who execute dynamic head-to-head manoeuvres at just 100 feet. A glassy sea makes judging their position and height very difficult.
Today will be the first time really we've both had cross points where we've been coming down to 100 feet over the water and judging that 100 feet over the water.
It's Toby Keely's first year as a synchro pilot.
I've just about grasped the basic manoeuvres down to display heights, and now having to do that over a sea and the coastline definitely adds another huge element and step up.
So one of the things I'm keeping an eye on is how they are levelling out from their manoeuvres. If there is something that doesn't look like it normally would, that's when I can come on the radio with a call that would get them to double check the height they're at.
The first manoeuvres for the team go well. But now, the synchro pair split off to perform their ultra-low-level routine.
Normally what we're doing is we're using features on the ground to line up and make the pass happen right in front of you. When we fly over the sea, obviously those features are taken away. You can get this nasty, insidious reduction of height in the jet just purely because you're unable to judge those normal heights.
The jets should pass so close, it looks like they'll collide. But in these conditions, they're struggling to align.
Today there was virtually no wind whatsoever, so it was a very, very flat and glassy sea. So it was quite difficult to actually judge the horizon. That combined with it being quite hazy as well, so it all kind of blended into one.
But they do still manage some perfect crosses.
threshold.
Displaying over water also makes life tough for the other pilots, particularly in their most difficult move, rollbacks.
Red 2 flew his rollback, and as he was moving into the slot, the closure that he had towards me was greater than he'd been used to.
For safety, Red 2 executes the agreed escape plan, dropping under the formation. As Red 5 rolls back in, he can't see Red 2, so aborts, pulling clear of the formation.
Whilst it probably looked particularly ugly, the actual procedure of that error breaking down was entirely correct.
As ever, there's frustrating elements to everything, and procedurally I think there's a couple of bits in there that we didn't help ourselves with.
The team have just 3 weeks to perfect their performance before their scheduled public display test.
It was a bit of a worker. 6 major points.
I think it's...
If they're not ready, shows will have to be cancelled.
If you try and follow that coast, you're way off heading, so it does suck you in quite badly. So I was working pretty hard for that. It certainly would to file away under learning sorties.
Copied all. All right.
And they've got another ball to juggle, because 8 more top RAF fighter pilots have just arrived in Greece. Over the next 7 days, they'll undergo an intense selection.
Very excited to be here. This is the 3rd time that I've applied, but the 1st time that I've got on the shortlist, so if I'm not selected, I'll be absolutely gutted.
But only 2 of them can realise their dream of becoming Red Arrows. Eight crack RAF fighter pilots have arrived in Greece, hoping to be selected to join the Red Arrows. They've been shortlisted from 31 applicants. Over 7 intense days, their personalities will be continually assessed by the current team. They'll face flying tests and interviews. Only 2 will be selected.
Okay, I'm just going to put my hand in the back of the helmet. If you lean in for me, just lean it, lift enough the brow.
First, candidates have to get kitted out.
Oh, really? Violated all night.
These pilots don't have the correct equipment to fly the Red's Hawk jets because, back in the UK, they fly a very different aircraft. The state-of-the-art Typhoon fighter.
The big one, I think, for me is going to be the flying test. So Hawk handles very differently to Typhoon. In the way of things, so it's fine.
And some have tried unsuccessfully for selection before.
So this is the 2nd time I'm going out to the shortlist. In some ways that's going to help, and in some ways it's going to be harder in the fact that I know what the pressures are and how I'm going to feel at the end of the week.
I applied last year for the first time. I got shortlisted, and that was a bit of a baptism of fire. This year, yeah, I've got the experience from last year, but I think with that comes also a little bit more nerves almost, because you've been there, you've done it before, so you expect to be perhaps a little bit more polished.
Ready to go, right. Let's do that. Good morning.
Alongside the selection process, the Reds still have to prepare for their PDA test. So the candidates will fly backseat during every practice display. And at the end of each sortie, 1 will undergo their flying test.
It's the battle reference. We're looking to get the wingtip that you can see. You say there, wingtip.
Red 8, Matt Masters, will be their examiner.
Between there and there. On that position, and that helps with your depth as well. So don't use the wing for depth.
They'll be in the back seat of my jet. We'll do a full display, and then once that's complete, myself and the team leader will separate, and we'll go off and begin the flying test.
For the rear, you've got this magic red A.
So we'll do 2 loops, and we'll do 2 rolls. The first thing I'm really looking for is we want them to be nice and accurately on those references.
If you go too far this way, it becomes an A with a point.
So it's station keeping, it's smoothness, but also we want to see a learning curve. So we want to see an improvement as the test progresses.
See where my head height is? On that spot there. about. Cool, is that everyone done?
On this sortie, it'll be Andy Cornthwaite who faces his flying test. Corny currently flies the Hawk as an instructor. It's the first time he's made it onto the shortlist.
I got told that I was on the shortlist a month ago, so throughout the last 4 weeks I've been reading up about it so much, so to finally arrive here and get stuck in has just been mind-blowing. If I'm not selected, I'll be incredibly disappointed.
Always a daunting moment doing your flying test. Yeah. I think we all remember it really well, this moment, getting in knowing it's your test. But, yeah, I'm sure you'll have a good one.
During the display practice, Corny gets to see the standard of flying he's aspiring to.
Thank you very much, that was mint. Corkscrew and tornado, that's crazy. Right, Corny, all the best. Thank you very much.
The practice display over, 7 jets head home. Now it's Corny's turn to prove he's got what it takes to be a Red Arrow.
Right, Corny, I'll give you the controls, just shuffle forward onto your reference. Okay. Okay. You have control? Flight control, tell me. 8, ready. Down, then loose. No problem. And pulling.
Corny must try to maintain this precise position just 6 feet from leader Purty.
Correct that, Corny. Don't go deep. For fuck's sake, come on.
It's not perfect, but the loop goes well. Next, the far more difficult barrel roll.
Ready when you are. 8. 8, ready. Very well. 8. Up. Roll. Don't go wide, Paul. Don't go wide, come on. Easy, easy. Hold it, back, down. All right.
It was a pretty intense 45 minutes. Glad to get it done, but given a second go, I'd look to improve on certain bits for sure.
On the ground, I will ask them, how do you think it went? Just to see if they can identify how they can improve. I'll let them go off to the debriefing room, and that gives myself and Red One the opportunity to compare notes and make an overall assessment.
The flying test, if you make the slightest jerk or the slightest sort of mishandle, you instantly think, that's it, I'm never getting in the team. And you get no feedback, so you have absolutely no idea how you're doing.
Flying 3 9-aircraft displays every day also makes this a hectic time for Circus. The engineers trained to fly backseat to service the jets when they travel away from home.
It's always busy for us. We're always on the move. Quite a lot of hours, tireless work.
And today, they've got a 10th jet to prepare.
Okay, so we went through all the safety stuff again this morning.
Because one new Circus member, Rose Buchanan, is about to take her first backseat flight, known as the Shakedown. She's flying with team supervisor Cos.
We'll go down to the aircraft in a few minutes. I'll help strap you in, make sure you're happy with where all the straps go and everything, and we'll just get you used to flying in the aircraft. I'll do some flying to begin with, and then depending on how you're feeling, we'll do some aerobatics.
I've just had my pre-flight brief with Springhawk Collins, so really excited. Very, very nervous, but really excited as well, so looking forward to getting up there.
All new circus members must have a shakedown to familiarise them with the extremes of flying in a fast jet. Rose's was delayed, following the recent tragic crash.
Good luck, enjoy.
Here. See you later.
Bye, Rose. Good luck.
First time I got in the Hawk with cars, I was very nervous. I do get quite nervous for new things.
Okay, do you want to jump up? So you go right foot first. Hang on to the handle when you can reach it. Left into the cubby hole.
But you think about what you're training and you think about what you've done, because at the end of the day it's something new. You're not going to get that many chances in life to do it, so you've just got to enjoy every minute that you get.
Helmet on when you're ready.
Once we lifted off the ground, it was kind of like this really surreal feeling that I'm actually flying a Red Arrow. This is a bit nuts. 22 years old, and flying in the back of a Red Arrow in Greece. It's not really something you ever think you're ever going to do. Pulling the G is a bit weird, but I guess your body gets used to it, and it was really exciting.
Under Coz's close watch, Rose is allowed a go on the control stick in the back, flying the Hawk herself.
I got to have a little go, got to do a roll around, so that was pretty fun. Flying upside down is very strange, but it is really cool. Massive relief when I landed, so it was really fun and just really grateful that I got that chance.
You right?
Yeah, you?
You didn't scare me that much.
Absolutely amazing. Thanks, sir.
My pleasure. Finally did it.
It was really fun, it was great. Definitely worth the wait. If you could pay for that, I'd save up for the rest of my life.
It's the second day of shortlist week. Today the candidates face the dreaded formal interview.
It's just too much waiting.
The last time I had an interview was about 12 years ago when I joined the Royal Air Force, so perhaps a little bit out of interview practice.
I do get tongue-tied and I'm not particularly articulate.
His training for PDA over for the day, team leader Martin Pert sits on the interview board with Andrew Keith, the big boss of the Red Arrows, and Finn Monaghan, the commandant of the Central Flying School.
In the interview, I'm trying to uncover those little secrets that they've got. I'm trying to find out more about the individual, because I need to know that these people really are going to hold the course, because it really is a very, very challenging job.
Welcome, Will. Slightly first.
Indeed, sir. Indeed, yes.
Get over with, you can relax in probably about 20 minutes.
Right then, Will. Please will you tell me, in one sentence and one sentence only, why should you be selected to join the Red Arrows over the other candidates?
I have a very strong work ethic.
That was it? One sentence.
I was using a comma.
Just thinking through some key phrases that I want to get in there and just trying to minimise the sweat that's pouring out of my palms. I'm the man for the job, comma. I am determined, I'm tenacious, reliable, dynamic, presentable. I'm a solid choice.
As pilots in the Air Force, we do lots of briefings, we stand up in front of people all the time, we are put on the spot, but there's something very, very different about a formal interview and one for a job that you just want so badly. As jet pilots, we're used to being very good very quickly at something, and so being in the Red Arrows, I want to do it so much because it is difficult. That is the challenge.
So, Simo, what are your personal motivations for wanting to join the Royal Air Force aerobatic team, the Red Arrows?
For me, it goes back a long time. When I was that 8-year-old boy, I used to go to air shows with my family, watch the Reds. I looked up and I thought, well, I'm going to give that a go. My dad wanted me to go into finance and that kind of stuff, and I always pushed back, and I'm now sitting in front of you today.
That first display, as you hear that and pulling up, cool, must be absolutely incredible. And then being able to engage with the public would be a huge honour.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Colin. Thank you.
For the first interview I've done in probably 16 years, I didn't feel it was too bad.
Heck of a day. Really glad that it's over and time to get a beer.
Next, the candidates go head-to-head with the Red Arrows.
Last man standing as far as I'm concerned.
And Red 6 is forced to make an emergency landing.
I did a low-speed handling check. I just saw a bit of a flash of some sort of brown, black bird. It just hit and made a bit of a thud on the canopy.
The candidates hoping to be Red Arrows pilots are halfway through their selection week. One by one, taking their flying tests.
Look forward to this. Nervous.
A few have shown real talent, but many have struggled with close formation aerobatics.
A couple of slightly bigger mistakes in there, but yeah, I think you just got to pinch yourself. I'll just try it out for the Reds, really.
Flying formation in a Red Arrow, that's something that you've got to be looking forward to do. It's now just waiting and seeing if I do get to do that again in the future.
The current Red Arrows pilots are also under pressure.
We were on crowd for the Typhoon roll just prior to...
Their big test, the Public Display Authority, is due in just 2 weeks.
And that coming left in Tornado, just because I needed to get on with it, I called the coming left probably while you were sort of hanging back.
Behind schedule following the accident, they're training flat out to avoid having to delay PDA and cancel shows.
It's really intense because the temperature out in Greece at the moment is in the 30s. We're wearing these big heavy suits, and between the end of the debrief and the start of the next brief, we've got about 30 to 40 minutes to eat some lunch, drink, cool down.
The aggressive manoeuvres flown by the synchro pair are particularly draining.
Flying synchro, there's a lot of intense high G manoeuvres, particularly when we're braking towards each other. We also do a sustained turn in our circus manoeuvre, and that's a sustained 6G turn. You've really got to work hard to combat the effects of G-force. So you've got to tense your lower muscles, your abdomen, your stomach. And my head is weighing 6 times what it does normally. And you've got to work really hard to move your neck and your body. On one of the practice sorties, my air conditioning failed in the aeroplane, and I actually got stuck on fully hot. I was sweating profusely, and it was actually coming down my forehead and actually dripping into my eyes as well. So I was wiping sweat from my face, and that, whilst trying to concentrate on flying the perfect show, was pretty challenging.
Anyone got a swimming pool for 7?
It's weak flow, but hot air.
Yeah,
I'll get one of them extra.
Toby's jet is grounded until a part for the air conditioning arrives from Britain. Down to 9 serviceable jets, they can't afford to lose another. Then, in the middle of a display practice, Cy Taylor suffers a bird strike. He breaks off and lands back at base.
put your hands on it, mate. Ooh.
Yeah, we hit bird during the first half. You can probably see on the canopy there. It just hit. So as we were in the back of Phoenix, we were right underneath Two's jet, and I just saw a bit of a flash of some sort of brown black bird, and it just hit and made a bit of a thud on the canopy. And obviously there's a bit of a wall from the front and the back seat. I hit one last year just on the way into Newcastle, which glanced off the side of the engine intake. Obviously, if that then goes in the engine intake, then that's bad.
Luckily this time, Si's jet is undamaged.
This thing is brutal, you know. It's built to last, the T1, so it tends to, you know, touch wood. It always comes out better of the collision.
Even when flying ends for the day, the selection process for the new pilots continues.
For me as the leader, I think it's crucially important that we try and get to know them, because we've got to work with them for, well, 11 months of the year. We are in each other's pockets, intensively flying, trusting each other and living on the road. So it's really important to get to know those guys.
On the fourth day of selection, the shortlisters face the ultimate personality test.
This week's my job is to come up with an entertainment programme in the evenings. The casting's a traditional part of the shortlist week, and even if people won't admit it, everyone's got a competitive streak in them, so you may see some fairly aggressive driving out there.
Everyone must compete in time trials to win a place in the final.
They do get quite competitive. That's going to happen when you get a load of fast jet pilots into some go-karts. So yeah, so I just kind of push on through after they've all had their little crash.
It's kind of why we do this. A, it's a lot of fun and get everyone together and get to know each other. But you know what it's like, someone that's just that little bit too competitive. You can just bring it out. And plus, if the boss gets run off the track by one of the shortlists, it's brilliant fun for all of us. So, yeah, fingers crossed.
It is all-out competition in the go-karting. I'd be disappointed if those guys weren't out to try and win. But there's clearly a few tactics and a few little ruses and ploys to make sure that maybe they aren't going to be right at the top of the tree.
With the heats over, it's not looking good for the Red Arrows.
Shortlist are currently top 3 and I'm number 4, so yeah, we might have to change our tactics a little bit.
Is it a good idea to be beating Red 1?
I might just allow him to overtake right at the finish line in the final race.
And then these.
But somehow the Reds' fortunes are magically transformed.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
5 minutes.
Thank you.
The Reds are in pole position now.
Yeah, it's funny that. Yeah. Whether it's a shortlist letting us win or we're actually best in the shortlist, we'll find out in a minute. It's just about to start the grand final.
Yeah, there was obviously a bit of hustling going on in the go-kart, and you don't want to start off showing your true talents early on, lull them into a full sense of security, and then come through winning at the very end.
Unfortunately, I was given the cart that stalled at any opportunity. Yeah, no doubt I would have won, but unfortunately in this instance my tools let me down.
Despite starting at the back, the shortlisters soon take the lead. Maybe foolhardily putting the boss, Purty, in last place. Fighting back, Purty spins off. Then, despite being a lap behind, he's given the checkered flag.
So as far as I'm concerned, I crossed the checkered flag first. I don't care how many laps I'd done. The guy raised the flag, I was the first to cross the line, so I'm claiming that as a win.
Just seconds later, the real winner, shortlisted JT, crosses the line.
Where have you been? Where have you been? What took you so long?
The win. The win.
Cheers. Let's go and get the trophies. Yeah, I maintained to JT that I'd won, and I don't think he had the balls to actually front up on that.
All right then, so in third place is Lingy. And the runner-up in second place is Grub. And the winner of Springhawk 2018 karting.
It wasn't until he actually got on the podium that I think he realised he was actually a lap ahead of me.
Is JT.
Well done.
Shortlist week is almost over. Will Cambridge is the last candidate to take his flying test.
The Red Arrow's job is something a bit special, something different. So what the guys are doing, it's all by their own judgment and by their own hand-eye ability. That sort of pure flying really appeals to me. If I was asked to join the team, that would just be fantastic. I've wanted to join the Reds ever since I was a young kid.
As they're about to taxi, there's a problem.
Delaying start, receipts just dropped the pin. That's copy from here.
The delay is caused by go-kart champion JT.
The red seat is going to jump out, just let the motorist seat up to retrieve the pin.
Loose objects in cockpits are dangerous. There's a risk they may jam the controls.
My backseater, he dropped his pin from his ejection seat on the floor. Unfortunately, when you close the canopy, you need to make your seat live by taking the pin out and housing it. But he unfortunately dropped it. Yeah, so we're about 10 minutes behind getting airborne, but he will definitely receive a lot of banter from the boys later on. It might cost him later, but hey, it's one of those things.
The pin retrieved from under the seat, the sortie can finally begin. At the end of the practice display, 7 jets head home.
Good luck to the Duchess. Rest assured the flight test is no more painful than childbirth. Go!
Leaving Will to begin his test.
Okay, Will. There we go. So you have control. I have control. Real happy then. You like to call 8 ready? 8 ready. Down, release. Smoke on. Go. And release.
Almost immediately, Will drops far out of position. But he manages to recover. He completes the loop successfully, but now faces the far more difficult barrel roll.
Just for a roll. Easy. Up. And roll.
Will's jet drifts dangerously close to Purty.
Control.
I had to take control and make sure that that closure didn't result in a mid-air collision. The aircraft suffered from slight over-controlling, which resulted in a higher closure of our aircraft to the lead aircraft. I took control and we safely moved back out onto the correct reference, and then I handed control back to Will.
Okay, well, just put that out of your mind, and we will just move forward. You have control. I have control.
handle's quite different to the Typhoon, and it's tricky manoeuvres, but no, it's fine. Glad it's over and a nice weekend to enjoy now.
It does happen. For example, in my first shortlist, the control was taken away from me, and here I am now. I'm flying in the Red Arrows, and I'm in the third year of the team, so it isn't the end of the world, and the biggest thing is just to learn from it on the next flying test if you're lucky enough to be on another shortlist.
If they're ready in time, the crucial PDA is scheduled just days away. But before then, the Red Arrows have another important commitment to carry out: a royal flypast. At the very end of shortlist selection, there's one final tradition.
So this is a chance for us to see the display, because all week we've been back seating. This will be the first time we get to see the full display from where the crowd will see the display.
How are you guys feeling? Are you feeling tired now?
No, not really. I've got to stay out here for another few weeks.
Not tired at all then?
No, not at all.
I'm knackered. I'm knackered. I need to get to bed.
I don't think I've done any disasters this week. I mean, there was a slight issue with delaying the whole display when I dropped the seat pin. Yeah, these things happen.
It's going to be a very nervous wait. If I'm selected to get in the team, I'd struggle to describe what I'd feel. I'd be so excited.
Waiting for the phone to ring will be I'll be dreading it, and at the same time really looking forward to it, because you just want to find out after everything that's gone on for this week and leading up to it. It just means so much to you.
After the shortlisters head home, the Reds haul themselves up at their accommodation.
What I'd like this to be is as objective as possible.
In this secret discussion, they'll decide which two candidates they want to join the team. But the successful pilots will not be told for 3 weeks. The all-important public display test is due in only 1 week. If the Reds fail, the display season will be postponed. But today, they've been given special dispensation to make one public appearance: an official flypast.
We've got the honour of flying over Prince Charles this afternoon at a marina in Athens, which is great. It's also the first huge sort of event this year. It's been keeping me busy the last couple of days because I've been busy planning it. And also, there definitely is a lot of pressure on the team. And that's not just the pilots, but that's the ground crew as well, the engineers who service the dye team have got to re-dye the jets as well. So there's a lot of pressure on them to get it right.
But the weather forecast is not looking good.
The forecast for Tanagra, cumulus and thunderstorms.
Good morning all. Obviously an important day, it's our first public outing, right, officially. It can be quite challenging weather out there as well. And as end, a great fly past for later on. Good. We'll brief at 25 miles please for the next lot.
Between us and Athens, there's some huge thunderstorms. That's quite challenging actually, because we've got to stay below the cloud. If we go into these big cumulonimbus clouds, there's lots of icing and hazards, so we've got to stay below these clouds. That alongside our TOT, time on target, we've got 14, 15 and 20 seconds. So we've got to be bang on that time this afternoon over His Royal Highness Prince Charles.
30 miles away in Athens, Prince Charles has arrived for the flypast that will mark his royal tour of Greece. But back at the airbase, a thunderstorm has struck.
Lo and behold, the weather was absolutely shocking that day. We had huge thunderstorms all around the area, within about 10 kilometres of the airfield.
In Athens, the skies are still blue. The royal party are in position, and the scheduled time for the flypast is just minutes away. With just moments to spare, the Reds have got airborne, dodging storms en route.
When we got airborne and I looked southeast and I could see the confines of Athens and I could see it was clear, yeah, that was a really great feeling.
Reds, come on! Nice one. Well done, everyone. Well done, number 7. Excellent.
We pulled out the bag. The skies over Athens were blue, wide open, and the white and blue smoke went down a storm. It was a great test of the whole team because in those 3 short weeks from not even having flown a full display, I'm very confident now we are at a standard where I think we can go for our public display authority. There's no doubting the talent of Lingy coming back into the Red 3 slot and his wealth of experience. But also I think the rest of the guys are just totally focused because they know what a challenge it is this year, of any year, to get to PDA status.